Hello everybody, CritCrab here with another story, this one about a DM that made his special NPC the main character of the campaign, effectively neutering the rest of the party and stealing their chances to be heroic and instead giving the entire game to himself. Roll post. I am still so annoyed at this. Okay, so background. I've played a few games with him before, but no actual campaign, and he wasn't that problematic at first. Some red flags that I didn't notice until later, like how he wanted us to critique our own roleplay and wanted a huge breakdown review of his session. It was such a pain because he always complained about how quote-unquote bad the session was for him and how he could do better, which would cause the group to grovel at his feet for an hour or so, saying how cool and awesome he was. When this guy, let's call him Rob, told the group that we were gonna be doing Strahd, I was legitimately excited. Strahd was one of my favorite modules. I love horror and gothic horror, so I didn't really care about the red flags I mentioned earlier because he promised that we would all get a chance to DM, and kinda pass it around as a group experience since people wanted to try their hand at DMing. This stopped when it got to Rob's turn. We got to the death house incredibly early because the guy DMing, Kurt, wanted us to get invested. Rob made him stop the session because we nearly got our characters killed, so we had a week-long cliffhanger, and that's when I noticed it. See, Rob's character, Connor, was a nobleman barbarian. We played on Roll20, so you could see this whenever he rolled for attacks or whatever. Except, at some point, Rob had changed Connor to be a Sorcerer-in-Lock, a Sorcerer, Paladin, Warlock multiclass for people who don't know. No real explanation, or no in-game explanation either, not even a heads up. He just shoots magic and zips around constantly now. He even suspiciously looks like DM even more now. And then the whole mood of the campaign changes. We went from dark, oppressive, gothic horror to Marvel Avengers. I kid you not, he constantly tried being the Iron Man of the group. Cracking quips, trying to be cool, and just generally being obnoxious. He then starts telling our characters that he's actually Sergei, Strahd's brother, reincarnated, and that's why he got magic powers now. My husband and I look at each other and mute the call when this happens because we can't help but laugh. The whole campaign goes downhill from there. Rob tries making Connor the center of attention in everything. Then he chucks out the Strahd module and says that he's going to improve it. He disregards the module and makes up his own lore and canon without telling anyone ahead of time, getting angry at anyone who says something that doesn't line up with his notes. Like someone saying something about orc tribes, only for him to snap and say that they don't exist. Actually, calling it his own lore and canon would be a lie. He stole from so many other fantasy series. Theirs being inspired by different stories, but ripping off of entire characters, plot ideas, and world building is a completely different thing. Hell, I could tell he heavily stole from Witcher and Dragon Age because he didn't bother renaming NPCs when he took them from there. It all comes to a head when we're fighting Strahd. Rob literally has our characters stand there and watch as Connor gives this overdramatic, long-winded speech to Strahd, going on and on about how sad he is that Strahd is evil. Then they fight. No one else gets to fight Strahd, no. It's Rob's moment. He verbatim says, "It's my moment." Whenever someone tried to help his character out, he just so happened to get nat 20s on all of his rolls. The thing that annoyed me the most about this was the fact that this group actually cheered him on. My husband and I didn't know these people, so we thought they were tired of Rob's shit, but no. Rob somehow got them wrapped around his fingers so bad that they pretty much simped for his DMing. My husband and I pretty much left after that. We couldn't handle such a narcissistic DM with a god complex for much longer. In truth, we only stuck around because we liked the dynamic of our two characters anyway. After we left, we took our characters and actually had fun with this new group we found. But then we found out later that Rob used my husband's character as a villain in a sequel campaign just to get back at him. I am so glad we got out of there, Jesus Christ. End post. So you're going to make an NPC who's supposed to be better and cooler than the players in every way, making him fight the final boss instead of the players, and you're gonna name him Connor. Here's Strahd, a super powerful vampire, and then there is his brother Connor, who, by the unstoppable power of DM intervention, destroys anyone who dares stand in his way. You go, Connor. Godspeed. Honestly, that almost makes me more mad than his actual DMing style. But jokes aside, one of my biggest pet peeves is seeing DMs who want to make DMPCs that are more qualified than the players and routinely put themselves in the spotlight. You're the DM. You can't be an impartial judge if you are partial to your special character. DMPCs can and have been executed properly, but they take a considerable amount of skill and effort to pull off, and I personally only ever use them if I have a really small party on my hands, and even then it's done very sparingly and temporarily. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more stories just like this one. Till next time.